Welcome back to Halo Halo. I'm Kat Iniba with your top entertainment and lifestyle show for Asian Pacific Americans. And I am completely honored today because joining us is a Grammy Award winner, multi-Academy Award nominee, singer, songwriter, Miss Melissa Manchester. Welcome, Melissa.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, especially because I know you just came back from a recent
New York,
performance.
yes.
Yeah, New York. No
Yeah.
jet lag or anything.
No. Keep doing it.
Yes. Now, speaking of performances, you're actually performing for JACCC's second annual Remembering Sadako event. Tell me what drew you to the event?
Well, my dear colleague Gerald Ishibashi had invited me to be a part of it and told me about the story of Sadako and to be part of his new theater is just wonderful. It's wonderful to bring new energy and to a beautiful place that he really has a vision about. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to sharing a choral piece that I wrote for adults and children called Plant a Seed. So I don't get a chance to perform it that often. So to be able to make that part of this evening will be hopefully meaningful for everybody.
Yes, I did read that, and tell me a little bit more about Plant a Seed because I saw the lyrics and it's very inspiring.
Well, I was inspired indeed. I was on a march in Washington, D.C. several years ago with my children when they were little, and it was to try to resist an impulse from Congress to do things like vote in ketchup as a vegetable. It was ridiculous. It was called the Million Mom March. That was absolutely on the books.
Oh, wow.
And it was really to remind the government that our children are our greatest resources and that we should invest in them.
Right.
And so I came back from that march and my kids were taking a nap and I wrote Plant a Seed. And really it's the list song of what a child would ask if they become fearful and how ideally a parent would answer them to reassure them.
Right.
And it's all about planting that seed of kindness and wisdom and choice and intelligent thinking and hopefully making your children, the children, know that even with their fears, they're still safe.
Yes, I noticed that. It's like you can still come home, I'll be here.
That's right.
I'm here for you.
That's right.
So inspiring, and you've coached, you're a mentor, what kind of advice can you give for artists that are just starting out, singers, songwriters?
Well, as an adjunct professor at USC, I teach at the Thornton School of Music, and it's amazing what I'm learning even recently. My students are very talented. They're at the beginning of their adventure, and I remember the beginning of my adventure, which is 40 years ago now, that they have to really, every day, they have to honor their talent, and they have to honor their personhood, regardless of how strenuous this walk is, because the artistic walk is not for the faint of heart. You have to recommit every single day. The odds are mostly against you, but you also have to remember that there are people's hearts that you can change with your art. It can be very powerful, unexpectedly powerful. And so they have to align themselves with spiritual teachings, emotional teachings that can keep them strong and fortified all the time.
Do you give them spiritual teachings?
Well, I do, in my opinion, you know, from things that I've learned, books I've read, philosophers that I've learned from. It's very important, you know, because they need to use, the unexpected gift is that their art helps them learn about life.
Right.
And it infuses their art. And
So
it's inspiring. It's inspiring for me as well, and it's beautifully mysterious.
Yes.
And it shows you that life just keeps unfolding.
I love that. You say that so well. Now you're working on your 20th album.
I am.
Well, you started last year, July.
I did,
and you did something different.
I did, because of my students.
Yes.
My students came to me when I was teaching, and they would show me their projects, their CDs, and I said, "How are you doing this?" Thinking that they would tell me about an independent record record company or whatever.
Right.
And they said, we're doing this through fan funding. And I said, that's great. What is it?
What is it?
And they explained it to me, and they explained it to my tour manager, Sue Holder, and we created an Indiegogo campaign that started last August.
Yeah.
And we got enough money to go in and record the first 5 songs, and then we had to wait until we finished the campaign, and then we went back in January and finished the album. The album is called You Gotta Love the Life.
Yes.
And we recorded it totally down at Citrus College,
Yeah.
which is
Right here in Southern California.
Yes, that's right, in Glendora, where I am honorary artist in residence.
Yes.
And because the studio is a teaching studio,
Right.
there were always students coming through, our engineers, the professor, and so it was just this living, beautiful, breathing experience. And so it was a very unusual way for me to make a record, but it was, I still refer to them as records.
That's okay.
But it was such a beautiful experience because it brought the fans closer to the process.
Yes.
It brought me closer to the fans, where we're all sort of helping to give birth to this beautiful unknown, you know. So it's coming out in February.
Yes.
I thought it was going to come out in September, but it's better that it comes out in February. And the first single,
Yes,
Be My Baby,
yeah.
which is a remake of the classic Be My Baby from the Ronettes.
Yes.
We did it more dreamy, quieter, more expansive. And if you go to my website, melissamanchester.com, you can download it for free. It's my gift to all the listeners, all the fans.
Right.
So it's lovely.
Now, you were mentioning how you recorded it at Citrus College and students and teachers were coming by. I also heard that you performed with some of the students in Hawaii. How? Okay, I got to hear this
just
story
came
from
back.
you. Yeah.
Well, you know, the spectacular big band, there are different groups of
Right.
musicians at Citrus. And the big band group has been going over to Hawaii for apparently the last 18 years as part of their project and their gift, actually, to play. And they have been, in the recent years, they have been playing in this spectacular courtyard at the Moana Surf Rider, which is the oldest hotel in the state.
Yeah.
And they're wearing white dinner jackets, and they are playing spectacular charts, spectacular arrangements. And the audience is invited. It's an open-air concert. People are invited to come in off the streets. You're invited to have dinner at a beautiful linen table and be part of it. And I sang there, and Hawaii's favorite son, Jimmy Borges, was a performer. And I was so thrilled, and we used 10 of the string players from the symphony, from the Honolulu Symphony.
Okay.
And it was just the most thrilling experience because these were not student players. These were
Right.
professional players that I would be happy to bring on any of my gigs. It was just thrilling. Bob Slack
Right.
was the conductor, and this is his department. He trains these boys and girls, and they have,
Wow.
you know, hopefully huge careers ahead of them.
Yes, and I'm sure they were completely honored performing with you.
We were all out of our minds. You know, some of them had never been on an airplane,
Oh my
and they were
gosh.
working so hard. They
Right.
were schlepping equipment
Yeah.
and playing and rehearsing, but there were beautiful tours that were
Yes.
set up for them. So it was just a thrilling,
combination.
heartfelt adventure
Yeah.
for them. And I said to them all, I said, write your memories down somewhere,
Yeah.
because
In song.
in song, of course, absolutely. So it was just beautiful.
Yes, and speaking of performances, going back to the event this Saturday, August 2nd, what can we expect from your performance?
Well, I will be there with my beloved colleague, Stefano Berhoff. He plays keyboards and guitar, and Sue Holder sings with me and plays percussion. And we'll be singing some of the hits, of course, and some of the songs from the new album, the 20th album.
Yes.
My 20th album.
I know,
Wow, that's beautiful.
congratulations.
And then we will finish off with the choral piece, Plant a Seed.
Okay, well, thank you so much again for taking the time to be here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For information and for tickets on JACCC's second annual Remembering Sadako event, you can head to their website at jaccc.org. Melissa Manchester is headlining. Time for a quick break, but we have more Halo Halo news when we return.